Hello everyone, Trish Jenkins here with another reading of Treasures of Darkness, and today we're going to be reading about people going to work at the Nudgee Cemetery. So I will get started and share with my personal page. There we go. Okay, so it was really weird being at the Nudgee Cemetery when I'd been, a prisoner, and I didn't name it as the Nudgee Cemetery at the time, but that's where it was, for those who know where that is, in Brisbane. So let's get started. I'll see how I go with finishing off this letter. There's a couple of pages. Okay. Sometimes people find it interesting to find out what we did for work and if we're occupied or if we're just sitting around. At the main prison, we were just sitting around most of the time. But once we got to Helena Jones, which was the minimum security place, then we were put to work, which was kind of good because it helped the time go quicker. All right, work. The first couple of days, we were grading second-hand spectacles brought in by the Lions Club. So they would be donated to third world countries, and each week boxes of spectacles arrived. So it's not just the cemetery. There's a few things that we did. You'd start off in-house. Right. So people who had passed away, or they'd finished using their old prescription, they could, if they had passed away, their families would donate them to the Lions Club, which is just a beautiful, beautiful initiative. Or if they've, and I think they still do it now, I would imagine that if you get rid of your old spectacles, then the Lions Club would bring them in. We would grade them, clean them, grade them, because as you can imagine, someone who's got really bad eyesight and they're kind of been wearing them a long time, they can be a bit festy, and so they would, if you've got your glasses off, you can't see what needs cleaning. So we would do that, and then we'd grade them, measure them, and put in a piece of paper in the bag, and then it would be, they'd take them away and donate them, which are probably just said in this anyway. So anyway, I just thought it was a beautiful thing that they did. So each week boxes of spectacles arrive. We clean them, then measure and record their power with a special machine. Finally, we seal them in boxes, ready to be picked up by the Lions Club representative. It's a wonderful cause. And if you have a project that requires free labour, you can ask for an application form. You can. If you're with a not-for-profit or something, you can apply and have prisoners do the work for you. So, and we didn't mind doing it. It was, well, some people didn't really like it, but some people just don't like any kind of work. But I was really quite touched by the project. Thought it was great. So my job this week is at the cemetery. I will be paid $5.71 a day, and we have to buy our own things out of that, so that's fair enough. So we catch the train. We catch the train from Albion Station. That's the one I did another blog on. Oh yeah, on my Facebook page you see the blog. So we catch the train wearing bright orange work shirts, overalls, steel-capped boots, and a big straw hat. Very fetching. We are not allowed to talk to anyone on the way. Not allowed to talk to anybody on the way. Not at all, ever, at all. To go to work, I remember this. To go to work meant stepping out of the grounds of the centre. I paused at the edge of the car park, took a deep breath, and stepped down onto the footpath. This was the footpath that, if you scroll back in my page a little while ago, I actually took some foot. So a couple of weeks ago, I went there and I took some footage with my camera, and you can see where the entrance of Helena Jones is, and that's the part where I was on the inside stepping out onto the footpath, which may not seem like a big deal, but it was freaky. I took a deep breath and stepped out on the footpath. I was out in public. It felt peculiar and wrong somehow. As we walked, I imagined a police car screaming to a halt in front of me, 4 burly officers jumping out and slamming me on the ground. "Where do you think you're going, Jenkins?" It didn't happen. I meekly followed the other girls to the train station. However, once on the train, we realised we'd hopped on the wrong one, the wrong train. We had accidentally got on the Caboolture train instead of the one to Cleveland. Now, my heart started racing in panic. Caboolture! We switched to the right train at the next station, but that lucky first one would continue its way to my family's town. What a tease. Each day we tidy the graves, weed, mow, and whippersnip the edges. I think Americans don't call it whippersnipping. It's like at the bottom of the pole is a string that spins around, and you can use that for cutting grass and edging and so on. I can't remember what you guys call it. What other people do. I discovered whippersnipping is harder than it looks. Those of you who are acquainted with my relationship to hard work, hard physical work, will understand when I say they will get their $5.71 worth out of me. I love gallows humour and swapped death jokes with the foreman. There are never any customer complaints. Mobile phone reception isn't great. There are too many dead spots. The cemetery is owned by the Catholic Church. I asked the foreman if he ever wondered. I did. I asked the foreman if he ever wondered how many of the dead had gone to hell. Yeah, I asked him that. Oh, come on. You do a lot of thinking while you're mowing, so don't be shocked. He said there was one fellow who turned up at a funeral just to make sure the mongrel was really dead. There are above-ground tombs and there are above-ground slots stacked high like ends of bunks. Today we waited for the supervisor in front of these cavities. Some are filled and sealed and some are just concrete rectangular holes. They're like these rectangular holes, one and layers of 3. Okay, because in some cultures don't want to be buried underground, so they go into these slots. The girls were getting spooked, imagining being inside one. I couldn't resist climbing into an empty one, and I backed up till my feet touched the far wall, and they begged me to get out. So I slowly came out forward, making growly noises and pulling scary faces to freak them out. It was fun. It was fun. I'm not scared of death. I'm not scared of death, although I'm not a fan of pain and suffering. The Aborigines don't have to work at the cemetery because, according to their culture, they are not supposed to look at images of the dead. And many tombstones, especially the Italian ones, display a photograph of the dead person. So for the Indigenous girls, they just didn't want to have to look at that, and so they didn't have to go. They'd find them other things to do. The cemetery dates back to the 1800s. Accordingly, the names on the oldest graves are Irish. Then the next oldest are Italian, as per our mid-20th century immigration policy, and which I think was about populate or perish. And as the Catholic requirement was lifted, more of the latter names sounded more Asian. So as our population came through. So I'm a historian, and I get caught up reading the etchings about the people, noting the family members who joined them later. Sadly, many grave sites only have us to maintain them, as there is no family left to do it. Occasionally, vandals come in the night and damage the headstones, and that makes us all mad. By the way, I'm told the supervisor, okay. All right, here we go. By the way, I told the supervisor today that I wanted to die peacefully in my sleep like my grandfather. and not screaming in terror like his passengers. Joke. An oldie but a goodie. I'll sign off now and be more spiritual next time. Mowing around graves gives me plenty of opportunities to receive words from the Lord. Love you all, Trish. And that's the end of that letter. It's there. So next time, it'll be something about seeing Hillsong on TV. So that'll be the end of March. So we will look at that then. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great week. Well, whenever you're watching this, right now it's Friday night, ready for the weekend. And it's been very, very hot lately. So hopefully things will cool down. And in America, it's going to be cold. So enjoy. Anyway, I'll get going. You have a good one. Bye-bye.